Hey guys, thank you for joining us again for another exciting episode of Yoml. And this is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. So today we're actually doing part two of the tribe. I didn't know we had a two-part faction, but here we are, part two. So Chris mentioned that I would like this reflection. So let's see if he's right.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident that you're gonna enjoy this one. So, part two of two is the book is called Tribes. It's about um, it's human nature to seek out tribes, and it's about the people forming a tribe basically. And if you want to form a tribe, like the power of tribes and yada yada yada, just it's all about tribes and why tribes really do need there's so much opportunity for people to form a tribe with the long tail the internet has created, and all that good stuff, basically. And they need people to lead other people, So that was what this book's about. So my second reflection was something that I wrote down the title of. I'm a heretic of the Church of Grit. So one of the things about tribes is it's kind of like a church, right? I mean, like you have things that you desire to change. You have a common connection rallying point around your tribe, and you have all these. I mean, whatever, it's kind of like a congregation, a lot of times with a tribe, and these days, like there's an informal religion that you and I talk about all the time. You call it what do you call it? Grit and grind or whatever. I'm just labeling it as the Church of Grit. Like there's this hustle culture out there these days where we are told very early on, like if you want to get anywhere in life these days, you have to dedicate yourself 10,000 hours, put it in. You got to block out all distractions, be laser focused in if you want to become world class and get through the dip, and all this other stuff, right? And this is what I like to call the Church of Grit. Like this is what we're hammered into our head every single day. Like every single self-help book I feel like you read, not every single one, that's hyperbole. Many self-help books you read, like Angela Duckworth says, grit is passion and perseverance. And if you want to have grit, like you have to really love what you're doing, but also at the same time persevere, block out all distractions, and just go to town and grit yourself through, until you can look back and go, okay, I've made it to my dreams. I've accomplished, what I set myself out to accomplish. I've sacrificed. I've blood, sweat, and tears, and ate the frog every day, and whatever else, right? He had grit. Like, so that's what the Church of Grit preaches. And I mean, when I was reading this book, I had just went over to one of my best friend's house. He has a 10-year-old and and like a 6-year-old. The 10-year-old he's a really good athlete. He's my friend's pretty tall. He's like 6'5". So this his son is pretty tall. He towers over everybody in his class, and he's also a pretty strong athlete as well. So he loves basketball. This kid is obsessed with basketball, and he does all the travel ball leagues, and my friend grew up. He was a really good baseball player. He played in college, so he wants him to play baseball. So he plays a lot of all-star baseball and travel ball. Like every weekend anytime that I talk to my friend, like and I'm like, hey, you want to do something? He's like, no, I can't. We have sports. Like, we have travel, we have whatever. Like all the people, I barely ever get a chance to hang out with him anymore. Because and this is like one of my best friends, and it's not because like we don't want to hang out. It's because he's always constantly traveling with his sons for sports, and pretty much
Mhm.
all of his friend group now revolves around people that are on these travel ball teams. And I remember I was over there on one of the rare occasions I was over there hanging out talking, and I was catching up with his wife as well, and she was like, Chris, you don't understand, like these days, if Henry wants to be good at basketball, like we have to play this travel ball. We have to go drive up 40 minutes to the north side of town, so he's on the most elite team. Like, if he has any chance ever of being good at this, like, you have to spend thousands of dollars, travel all around all over the place. And I kept hearing them say this, and I was like, he's fucking 10. I was like, I don't remember shit from when I was fucking 10 years old, but like there's just so much pressure on kids these days to 10,000 hours and passion and perseverance and grit, and push through. And it's this is the Church of Grit, man. Like this is what people think they have to do. And when I was 10, I don't know, do you remember what you wanted to do when you were 10 years old?
No.
I still don't fucking know what I wanted to do. Like when I'm 38 right now, and I'm actually kind of proud of that. You know, like I for damn sure didn't know what I wanted to do when I was 10. I was doing all kinds of things. I was swimming. I was playing tennis. I was playing baseball. I was playing basketball. I was playing pick up football with friends every day. We were riding our bikes around, playing video games, flashlight tag every night. Like, I mean, I don't know what the hell I wanted to do. We are at the pool playing sharks and minnows all day long. Like I just was just doing stuff with my friends and having fun, and we were just being active. I didn't know what I wanted to dedicate my life toward, to like, to really make sure that I got a scholarship or whatever. Like I didn't give a shit. Like I was just having fun being a kid. And like unfortunately the Church of Grit, like these days, like that's what they preach, is like this is what you got to do. And a lot of people buy into this. I mean, you and I bought into this. Like I told you before, if you would have asked me what my values were before Amelia, I would have said, grit might have been one of them. I would have said do the things you hate the most first, i.e. eat the frog. I would have said shit, I'm starting to forget what I used to say. Oh, fail fast. I would have said gosh, I don't even remember anymore. Like, I'm glad it's kind of, my memory is starting to wipe, away from these things. But this was the stuff that I even believed beforehand. And then we went on this journey together. And these days I'm a convert. I'm a heretic of the Church of Grit. And I'm proud to say that, like I will, like, the Church of Grit does not believe that it is possible for you to be a good father, to be a good, be good at your job, to be able to play tennis at a high level when you want to be able to go pick up a new sport, do a new challenge every month, be able to meditate, whatever, live a balanced existence, doing the stuff that you want. That they do not believe that is possible, because they know that work-life balance is a joke. Like you either are all in or you're not, in the Church of Grit. And I think that's bullshit. I practice at the Church of Balance. That's what you and I practice at, every single day, right? Like we don't talk all day long. We just talk for an hour every single night, and that's fine. Like we built it into our schedules. We have a good conversation. We say what we want to say, and we move on. I try my best to. I just got done playing a tennis match. Like, I work hard during my day, doing meaningful work with my team. And in the mornings I write, learn something new, go on a run with my daughter, whatever it may be, right? Spend some time at the park with Luca later on in the day. Like my point is you can be a good family man, you can be a good teammate, you can be a good employee, you can still have hobbies and activities, you can still, at the Church of Balance, you can still do it all. The only requirement is you do the stuff that you love the most, and you try to do as much as you can. I mean, the Church of Grit requires you to have goals and dedication and see the vision. Like the Church of Balance says, just do the stuff you like to do every single day, and who gives a shit where it goes. Like, don't worry about the outcomes. Like, just have fun. Like that's the Church of Balance. That's where I practice these days, and that's where I feel comfortable. So I'm officially a heretic of the Church of Grit, and I feel really good about it. So I'd love to get your thoughts. What do you think?
Gosh, I don't know what to say. I mean, what is there to say? I mean, to me, I I don't. There's nothing to disagree with what you say. You and I have been on this journey for quite a while now. The
Right,
only thing I probably would say is that I don't even recognize the Church of Grit.
right,
I,
right.
I
Yeah,
completely ignored them. I mean, it's like do whatever you want. I, I don't give an F. You do whatever you want. You can rise, grind, repeat, eat the frog, do whatever you want. You feel like you're supposed to do. For me, it's like I don't recognize. To me, it's like, well, I don't know about the Church of Grit. I just don't recall having it in my memory at all. I mean, to me, because even if you, for me, is even if you are a heretic, that means you still have a say or opinion on what they do. I'm on the other end where I'm completely like wiped out the concept of it. I don't even recognize it. So
right.
I don't have even an iota of brain cell that's dedicated to, hey, my opinions is the reverse of what your opinion does. And so all what I do today is, what I do as far as who is true and what true needs to do, and what truth needs to do is become a Mexican fisherman. And that all I care about. That's the only thing that's in my head, right? I don't, because you think about it when we're talking about having the ability to the inability um to register a negative, like we're talking about, hey, don't think about anything, right? you think about an elephant, then you remove it. So when you think about the Church of Grits, well, you still have to think about it to remove
Right.
it, to oppose it. And so I think I'm a step further than what we are talking about now. It's about the Church of Grit, and um, like I said, nowadays I don't care to be world class. I don't care to be understood. I don't. I mean, because I don't have room for those things. You know.
Right.
So for me, like I said, it's there's not much I can say in terms of
Like the Church of Grit infuriates me now. Like, when I
it
like
used to
it
infuriate me, right? If
it
you say, hey,
well, yeah,
these
you're right.
kind of
I don't really care anymore. You're right. I don't really care. Yeah.
I used to. I used to be very pissed off at, why are people trying to tell you this? Why are these gurus and these influencer? This is why in the beginning I hate like the image of the media that portrays Steve Jobs and Elon Musk. It's not their
Yeah.
fault. It's just the media portrays them. I
Yeah,
hate
yeah,
that
yeah.
because the thing is, they put these guys on as influencer to get them to as a tool to manipulate you. So
Right.
that's what I hate. And it used to grind my gears about, and it gets me really really like worked up when a young kid is talking about, hey, Elon Musk this and Elon Musk that. So
Right,
well, the
right.
thing is, you don't want to do that, kid. You
Yeah.
don't understand, and he doesn't
His
understand
life
what I'm saying.
sucks. His life is awful. Like, I mean, maybe not for everybody, but I mean, I know for me, like, you couldn't pay me to, like,
I
you
mean,
could,
the thing is, you're talking about Elon Musk, right? He has, to me, as far as my personality and how I am is concerned, if I have Elon Musk's life, it would be the most miserable life I would ever have. Because
I
for one,
agree.
is I don't like to be in the spotlight. I don't like people talking about me. I don't like all that. I don't like to be like, hey, expect this, expect that. And second, there's so much money. He has so much money. It's like, what the fuck do I buy? There's
Right.
nothing for you to strive for. We're talking about like we talk about
Rockets. I mean,
no, he
like,
already bought that.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I
He,
don't know. Uh,
the thing is, the point is he can buy anything he wants
right.
because he could. It takes away
A country, you mean?
the need, even if a country. I mean, he basically helped Ukraine with the Starlink or whatever. He basically is able to do all that. The problem is that because human nature, we are rooted in the need to do exploration and discovery. Without the ability to do that, you took the thrill out of life when you can buy everything you want. Because the thing is, the food doesn't taste good anymore because
Right.
when you have so much food, it becomes like bland, like eh. But if you eat a hamburger or you eat a pizza or whatever, like once in a while, you appreciate the taste. But if you eat like a hamburger every single day, right? Eventually, it's gonna become
Right.
this is too old. And so the point is that in his position, for him to get to, we're talking about the happy. So we understand how the happiness hypothesis works, right? When you go from $1,000 to $10,000, it's a big jump, right? But you go from 10,000 to $20,000, even it's the same amount of jump, but it doesn't feel as good because
Right.
of the happiness hypothesis, because the significance in a difference isn't that big. And when you have experienced this particular jump, even if you jump again and another, you need to actually like exponentially multiply it. You can't. But for him, it's like he gets to the point where he has had diminishing returns. So that to me, his life become miserable because he well, I want a yacht. Yeah, yeah, blah. Oh, I want a rocket. Right? Because you get to the point where there's nothing like gonna give you the big jump anyway. It doesn't thrill you. So okay, I
Right.
bought Twitter. Okay, I bought the whole fucking universe. Who cares? No one cares, right? Because the
I
thing is,
agree.
but then he got to go onto the Twitter and then got to do blah blah blah. That's why he makes all these things up on social media because he has to stir things up
Right.
to kind of have some kind of a thrill. But this is why a lot of the drug addicts, like especially the actors, who make so much money. It's like, well, how do I get a kick out of it? People become adrenaline junkie, and some people become like this and that because they needed that kick.
Well, actors are emotional roller coasters anyway. Like that's what they get paid to do, and like naturally feeds into like they're kind of manic sometimes, man. Like I mean, they're like they
Because
can't control their emotions. Like they
the thing
want to
is
have wild emotions,
because they already experienced the emotion. The
right?
experience of the emotion they have today is no different than what they acted. And so they didn't give them that kick to say, well, I need to stop. I need to scale back down because it's too much. Say, it's the same thing. So they went overboard with it, right? And so what
Right.
I'm saying is, in that life, maybe it's good for Elon. Maybe he's suited for that. And I don't know that, but that's up to him. It's his life. But as far as my life, it's like it's not. And I'm pretty sure not everybody's gonna be like Elon. So you can't say, hey, like 1,000 people, 100,000, even 1 million people want to be Elon Musk. Can't be all have the same kind of genes that Elon has,
Agreed. I mean,
right?
here's my biggest, I think, complaint with the Church of Grit. It's like the Church of the Marshmallow Test, basically. It's a lot of self-sacrifice and
I
a
mean,
lot
to
and a,
me, it's
and
a bunch
a
of it's a church of manipulators.
but it is, but it's also like it's this goal. It's the Church of goals. It's the Church of like set a dream and go for it. But like people think that is like these dreams, these future visions of who they want to be. There's nothing wrong with that. That's like dopamine and all that good stuff. I'm like that's great. Like that's an important thing for us to have. But like that dream is not like gonna make you happy. Like especially when you achieve it. Like anybody in the Church of Grit, like when if they only are going for a dream, like
But that's the
they're
thing is
gonna be let down.
they're missing a point because the thing is
They're missing the point. Yeah.
if I say like, okay, you work really hard, Chris. Okay, we think if you imagine you like when you say, well, I have these dreams. My dream is to be in a vault with all of the dollars, all of the Benjamins in my vault. Is that the dream?
Is it
Is that the
strangely tough?
image in your head? Is that the image in your head? If that's the
Right.
case, then follow that dream. Follow the Church of Grits. But if your dream was, oh, I can do whatever I want, I can travel, I can eat, I can meet people, I can be influenced, I can help people that is in the
Right.
same. That's a different dream because you are chasing. Oh, I gotta be good at basketball, baseball, football, like your friend does. It
Right.
isn't because they want in the end the image in their head was I'm gonna be
I'm gonna
covered
go. I'm gonna be pro. I'm
into
gonna I'm gonna go to
this
college.
pool
Or
of money, right?
right. Right.
No, it's about something else. Just like for example, for most people, okay, what do you like to do? Oh, I like to do this. I would do this when I retire.
Right.
That's the thing is why are they working? It's just sort of because they can get the money to get in there. The money is a bridge, but if you target the money as the goal, as a bridge, you're missing your actual dream.
Well, it's
The
not even
actual,
just the money. Even it's not even just money.
but
Like even if
the
you
grid
want the
is about
accolades, you
making
want the
money.
identity, you want
Well,
the
the accolades comes
the
with the accolades boils down to getting the money. Because
uh,
I'm asking you if you the fuck is like, okay, why you become an influencer? So you get the money. If you don't have the money, why would you want to become an influencer?
well, somebody might actually want to
If you
influence people. Like of
we
I mean,
talk
because
we
you
talk
could call
about
us influencers. I mean, like I'm not saying that we. You're talking
but
about the definition
people
of
don't. I mean,
just
most
influencing.
people out there are influencers, right? They're there for the money, not because they're
Right.
there to
There's not
do.
a cause.
You and I
To
do this because
right. What's
we
Kim
thrive
Kardashian's
on.
cause? Right. Like,
But
what's her cause?
you think about Kim Kardashian, right? Let's say you make a movie of her, you do a TV star, and pay her nothing. Let me ask you, would she do it?
No,
Fuck
never,
no.
never,
Fuck
never.
no.
Like their life is torture. Like I mean, they can't have relationships.
No
They
one
can't
does.
they
No,
can't do
man. The thing
anything
is,
private.
like
Like
I told, I'm telling you, like there's nobody in this world would do it for the fame. The
they're stuck
fame
in a cage.
is because they know the money comes with the fame.
Right.
This is at the end of the day, people have a dream. But they're missing a point because they say, well, I gotta catch this bridge, this dollar, right? I get to that dollar, then I can do this. That's why everybody you talk to, it's about, okay, what do you like to do? Oh, I like to do this when I retire. I like to. So that's the point. They say, I like to do this when I retire because that's what they want. Is
Do
they
it.
want to
Do it
go
now.
and grab this bridge, which is the money. So to me, if you look at everybody from athletes, even the athlete today, we're talking about the what would you call it, the image likeness or whatever for the young
Oh, no,
athletes or
nil,
whatever.
nil, yeah,
Nil,
nil,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So what's the point of nil? So you
I
can
mean,
capitalize on your
on
fame.
your,
Is
yeah, 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 yeah.
so it's like, well, I want to be famous, just become famous. No, who fucking care about being famous if you don't get the money come with it?
Oh, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, it's so like here. I just want to be like crystal clear about like how I'm seeing this, like at the Church of Balance, like how you and I see this. Like, it's not that we don't have goals. It's not that we don't have an imagination. It's not that we don't have a vision for the future. It's just that once that's there, all we focus on is the present, like and doing what we want to do in the present that will hopefully compound into that in the future. I can guarantee you, I if you ask any single person on this planet, like what did they want 5 years ago? Like if they sat down and wrote down goals 5 years ago, made a vision board, I don't know, whatever you want to fucking do, like like I can guarantee you that where they are right now today was not where they thought they were going to be. And I don't mean that's a bad thing or a good thing. I can just guarantee it's not. You can't predict the future. Like no one can. I don't care how strong your vision is. I don't care how much you dedicate. And try to block out every single thing else. I don't care how much you even love to do what you're doing. Like I love playing tennis. Tomorrow, like I mean, I told you that yesterday. Like my shoulder hurts so damn bad. Like the match today, I'm actually oddly enough I've been working so hard on building muscle in my shoulder and actually it worked a little bit today. I didn't have the pain that I had even just a couple days ago, playing tennis. Like and it's not like it was like no pain. It was just it only took me like 2 games, for the icy hot to kick in today versus like the first full set. Like it feels like it's going down and like I'm, and I have more range of motion and I, whatever. Anyway, my point is like tomorrow somebody could cut my arm off, like, and I could never be able to play tennis ever again the way that I want to play tennis. So what do, right? Like at the Church of Grit, well, you just invested, I had invested 5,000 hours into that. I had a vision that I was going to be a pro tennis player, and I had all these things, and it's just gone. What do I do now? And like at the Church of Balance, it's like, well, fuck, why did you like playing tennis in the first place anyway? Well, it was a challenge. I like to be challenged. I like to learn something. It's one of those things that I can learn really fast all the time, and I can constantly be, doing deliberate practice to get better at something. That I love that. I love to endure. It's one of those things where you're going to be, frustrated and you got to keep pushing, oh, okay, great. Like, I keep going through my values and I go, there's an infinite number of activities that I could go reapply that to and go that route. Like that's the Church of Balance, right? Is like do the stuff that you love to do because why you love to do it. And then wherever that goes is where that goes. I'm not saying that we don't accomplish things. Like I'm not saying that we don't even do stuff. Like, we do a lot. I probably do more at the Church of
Well,
Balance than I've ever done in my life, it's just for a different reason. It's just to maximize the day and to do as many things as I can that I love to do. And that's it.
yeah,
With my daughter. Yeah.
right. The thing is, it's not about the Church of Grit, the Church of Balance, or anything like that. My point is that we are missing the point. Okay, and let
Yeah.
me simplify that for you. Okay, we're talking
I hear you.
about like so there's two scenario I can give you. The first scenario, if I ask you, okay, what do you want to accomplish in the next 10 years from now? What is your vision of you being like, hey, me, I become a world class at tennis, world class at become a be, become a business entrepreneur, whatever. Then my next question would be, then what will you do?
I don't know. No, like I've wondered
So
this so
that's
much about
and
like
that's why you're missing the point because
right.
when I ask you, okay, when you achieve your goal, what is next? What do you want? For me, it's like when I become a Mexican fisherman, ask me what I want to do.
Fish.
No, I become a Mexican fisherman still,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Right.
You're
Yeah.
talking about the point is that you get to a particular destination. Is that where you want to stay, or that's just a next? It's just a transient place. That's the reason why people ask you, okay, I'm gonna become a millionaire. Then I ask you, then what? Oh, haven't thought about it yet. Maybe I'll go to Disneyland. Maybe I'll do this. That means that's not where you're supposed to be.
And you spent so much time
If you
sacrificing.
ask me, once I become the Mexican fisherman, what is my next step? The next step is still the fucking Mexican fisherman. I'm still doing the fucking thing. That's my dream hasn't changed. So
Right.
another thing we talked about in the past is you remember that book Tuesday with Morrie?
Yeah.
If you had to repeat the same day for the rest of your life or the eternity, what day you would pick? Do you hey, I'm going to Hawaii, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, right? What is it that you want? Oh, when I make $1 million, I'm gonna make $1 million again and again and again and again for the rest of my life. Think about that. Because my point is that if that isn't what you want to repeat, regardless of how good it makes you feel, it is not where you're supposed to be. You are missing the point.
The book you just reminded me. I think you make a great point. You just reminded me of that book when breath becomes air, about the doctor that you know he was
A
was he
surgeon.
a brain surgeon? Was he a brain surgeon? I think.
Yeah, he's a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
He have a
Yeah.
heart attack, right?
No, he had cancer. He had cancer.
Okay, cancer.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was a brain surgeon that had spent probably 10,000 hours on his. He was at the end of his residency when he got sick. And you know, he was so torn about, like, you know, what do I do? Like, this has been my identity my entire life. I don't know how to get rid of this. I don't know how to give this thing up. Like, you know, what do I do every day? You know, and he was talking to his physician, you know, because he was now no longer a physician. He was a patient.
Patient, right?
And she was like, you know, just focus on what you love to focus on your values, focus on what you love to do every single day. And that was why he started writing. He was like, I always wanted to write, and I always wanted to share my thoughts. And, you know, he was like, I figured I would do that someday, you know. And then, you know, as the identity of being a doctor and everything that he did went away, you know, it didn't matter. Like, I mean, he was still doing what he loved to do every single day and focusing on the time that he had left and maximizing that. Like, but this is the story as old as time, with people that get sick and that they look
They
back on their life.
realize, yeah, they realize, yeah, you're on your
They're
deathbed, you
doing
know,
like, yeah,
what am I doing to spend the remaining days I have?
right.
And most people, let's say you're the fucking Elon Musk entrepreneur, you make $1 billion a year or $10 trillion a year on your deathbed, right? On that day, are you gonna make another $1 trillion? That's the question I'm asking you.
Who
If you
cares?
are making the fucking boatload of money, and on your last day you know you're gonna die, are you gonna go out there and you're going to fucking make another 10 billion trillion gazillion dollars? If that's what you want, then yes, you have found your calling. If that is not what you want, and you say, hey, I would rather go fishing, then fucking that's what you're supposed to be doing all along.
Right.
You're not supposed to go and follow this church of grits and find this transition, this decoy of a dream. It's not a dream. I
No,
think it's, for me, it's like
not a
money
dream.
means nothing if I can't do what I want to do. The reason why I'm working, the reason why you're working, is so that we can afford the time to go do what we want. And I believe that it's the same for everybody.
Not just that. Like, I changed. I mean, when I quit my job to go do this job, I wanted to make sure that my work was meaningful work. Like, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't even care what they paid me. You know, like, I wanted to do exactly what I'm doing every single day, and I don't want to do what I don't want to do every single day. And that's when I said I don't care what I'm doing, as long as I know that I can do what I want to do. I know I'll be good at it, and I know that my team's going to say, "Man, you know, you've really done it, and like, you've helped me to shape my life," you know. And I'm like, that's what I want to do.
I
I
mean,
want to
being
leave
good at it
breadcrumbs. I
is
want
it's
to
a
lead people.
byproduct, right? It's a
Right.
byproduct, and
Exactly.
it's just automatic happen.
There's
But the
people
thing
that
is,
hate doing what I'm doing.
even
You
even
hate doing what
if
I'm doing.
I would hate what you do,
Right.
I hate it because I tried it before, because I have a company. I had to be I had to wear all the hats.
Right.
I hated it. Like, I just leave me alone. Let me build something, right? I don't want to go talk to you. I don't want you to call me and talk about all this BS about, this feature, that feature. Hey, just What is your problem? Let me solve for you. Don't go in there and say, well, you know, I have no fucking idea what am I doing here, but I am going to give you my opinion. Right? It just ignores the heck out of me. It's like, unless you understand what it is that you trying to solve, because the thing is, the problem is that you have a problem. You can't solve it. That's why you come to me. Let me solve it. Right? Why are you mingling and asking, hey, do this, do that? You know, why? I'm telling you, you don't have the skills. That's why you need me. And so there is so much of these things that I don't like. And because I go into those situations, I become irritated. And my life become misery just because I'm irritated by things people do. And it doesn't align. It
and
doesn't
it's a church
align.
of grit. You got to persevere because it's passion plus perseverance. You do like coding, so if you like building a business around coding, but like
No, I ain't severing
you got to persevere. True, if this is
Yeah.
what you really like, to be at the church of grit, and like don't get me wrong, we persevere through a lot. Like look at this shit. We're on
We persevere
book 266
because we
like,
get to, not because we have to.
yes, exactly. We want to persevere. Like we don't.
To me, persevere isn't a word for me. It's like I get to do this. I get to go and like talk about shit. Right? That's what I'd like to do. I don't like to talk about like other topic where I have no interest in. I just talk about like life and like lesson we learn and shit. I mean, that's to me, it energizes. And you basically say, okay, that's true. If he's willing to pay to get to do this, I would. Right? You don't have to pay me. I actually will pay you to get, hey, because you think about
that's actually the key.
You think about it, right? You think about it. If you stop, if Chris stop having this other person across my screen, I was actually going to find another replacement for Chris and trying to pay him to be, hey, Chris second or whatever, the Chris 2.0. Hey, let's talk about this shit.
Right. You're like, you're right. Like, I mean,
I will pay you. I will pay. I mean, I will go and talk to a therapist because we're missing what I have discovered that I like.
I think that might be the key. That might be the key question that you could ask anybody. Would you pay to do what you're doing every single day, whether or not you make money off it or not? But would you pay to have the opportunity for me to write every day, to play tennis, to coach people? I do.
See,
I know. I pay.
That's my point.
Would you pay to learn something new every day? I do. I pay a lot of money to learn something new every day. I have 300 and how many audiobooks do I have in here? Plus like my library downstairs of like regular books, but I'm just looking at my audiobooks. I have 342 titles in my Audible account. Let's just call that let's say I think it's like an average like $12 a credit or something like that. So that's $4,000 worth of that I'm paying, not only in my time, like that's how many hours have I put in to this. The total listening time on this for history and this has all been since Amelia too, is 2 months, 20 days, 10 hours and 40 minutes. So that's 2 months. This is in 20 days, so almost 3 months of 24 hours a day. Like we're not talking about like when you're awake.
8-hour work week.
right. No, this is 3 months of my life, like literally from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. Over the past 3 years. So I don't even know what that equates to as a percentage of my time, but like money, time, effort, plus then all this other stuff that we're doing. This project is just an insane amount of time. Like, but it's not persevering because I want to do it. Like I find ways to
persevering is when you are doing something you don't want to do. That's
eating the
what
frog.
Comes to my mind. It's like I don't like to do it, but I have to persevere and go through with it. It's like I don't want to go that way.
I don't want to do that. Like, and I'm not going to do it. Like, so if somebody,
it's like for that to happen, you have to get somebody to pay you, give you a nudge for you to do it. For us, it's like, okay, I'm giving you money so I can go there. That's not persevering. That's like
exactly.
I mean, I don't know what you want to call. I don't know what you call that, but that's not persevering. Like you're not struggling at all.
the question should be, I think you hit the nail on the head. Would you pay to do the stuff that you do every single day? Like the guy that wrote When Breath Becomes Air, I think he would have paid to be able to be right
Of
to be
course,
able to
he's a
write every day.
fucking
You
like
know,
he's a
right?
fucking like very good at what he does, right? And he does brain surgery. He's a good.
Right.
He's a
Well, no,
that's
I was
what.
saying I think he would have paid to become a writer every day too. Like I think he did love being a doctor as well, but like I think that he
But I
would
think he
there's
loves to
other
write.
things that he
Well,
wanted to do in life.
I think he loves the thought of being a doctor, even
Yes.
because he has the skills to accomplish those goals, and he loves the thought of becoming a doctor. But then when he has the little time to live, his doctorness and all the sunk cost fallacy just went out the window
Yeah, no,
because he said,
you're
"Well,
right. Yeah.
and he's writing a book. It's like, well, I'm writing a book so I can bestseller and make a bunch of. No, I'm dying tomorrow. So
No, I'm just
he
telling people
isn't
my
he
life and the
isn't
story, you know.
doing it. He isn't doing it for money.
No,
He's
and
actually
talk
paying
about
because he's
persevering.
losing the he's losing the salary. He's losing the time, right? Because the time he could do something else. So he's paying in the missing opportunities of the dollars he bring in. He's paying for the time, but the time that he has is actually very, very high price because it's not like he has all the time in the world. He has very short time, and he chooses to write a book to
Yeah,
leave behind. It's like, I mean, what's his reward?
and you're spot on and talk about persevering. Like he was doing this while going through excruciating pain and
Mm-hmm.
chemotherapy and dying. Like there was days that he couldn't write. Like there was days when he said, like, you know, he mentioned in the book, and he didn't actually finish the book. He almost got there. And his
Mm-hmm.
wife finished the last chapter because he ran out of time, literally ran out of time. But even when he was like literally on his deathbed, he was still trying to write, you know, like and like that's talk about perseverance, right? He wasn't doing that to like because he was like, I gotta keep persevering. I think he was doing that because he was just like, I only have a little bit of time left, and I want to do what I love to do, and if I can, I will. Like, you know, and if I have the ability to do this, I will. Like that's not
That's
it's
probably
not
the
an
highlight of his day, right? Because you're talking about,
I'm
okay,
sure it is.
oh, I have to go keep chemo, I have to go do this, gonna do that. Oh, I gotta go write. So I had to do all this, then I get to write,
Right.
right? So the thing is, that's the point. So the thing is, back to what I'm saying in the beginning, don't miss the point. The point isn't this or that or the other, right? The point is you are who you need to be. Find out what makes you want to pay to do the things that you're doing or will do, whatever that is.
Mhm.
Because if you had to do something for money for another reward, that isn't where you're supposed to be.
I mean,
You you
it's not where like I um I I struggle with this a little
where
bit because
where
it's not
in the state of being.
well the I struggle with this one just a little bit only of what that last statement you said because like I still get paid for my job, and I get paid well in my opinion. But like I don't care about what literally if they fired me tomorrow, I don't I can
Yeah,
honestly say
because
I
no,
don't care.
I think you're missing the point though. Because the thing is, if you were to be able to join Clubany right now, you would.
Yeah, I'd be gone. I mean, in five
That's my
seconds.
point. That's my
Yeah,
point because you see, yes, you like your job, you like the people there, but you would rather be in Clubany than to do the thing you do over at
yeah,
the company, right? And so that's my point. Is because you understand that, hey, I'm actually willing to give up my 200K or 200K job to go here and do for 70K.
yeah, without a doubt. I mean, yeah.
Right, and then that's why
Well,
you that's
it's
that.
but it's not the yes, without a doubt. Like I mean, like the it I agree that it's I don't know that I have the I cannot be impeccable with my words right now. So around what I want to say, so I'm not gonna say it.
Neither am
But
I. So I'm saying is the place where to be. I don't. There gotta be a better, more succinct word for that, man. I
right,
agree. That kind of confuses people a little bit. But we are making progress. So
yeah,
hopefully later on we'll find a more meaningful word.
yeah. And but like at the church. I can guarantee you one of my last kind of thought on this one is I can guarantee you at the Church of Grit they laugh at the Church of Balance. Like my friend, like one of my best friends, he laughs at the fact that I'm like, why are you doing that, Mike? You don't need to spend your whole entire weekend. Like when do you get to exercise? When do you get to go do the stuff you want to do? When do you get to go learn? When do you get to go, like do the things that you love to do? Like when you're sacrificing at the Church of Grit for your son because you're telling him that look like hey I got to persevere so you can persevere through the 10,000 hours and whatever and like my thing is with the whole Church of Grit, like they literally laugh at the idea of work-life balance. They're like, you can't have work-life balance. That's it's a joke. You and I talked about this like from day one. Like we don't like that word because it implies that like you have two different worlds you live in, so you're either doing one or you're doing the other, and
Right. You can't be a work Chris and then a at home Chris. That's the
right,
same Chris.
it's all one. Like I mean, so like the a balance is what we're talking about, but they laugh like at the Church of Grit. Like in my opinion, they chuckle and they're like, "What are you talking?" It's like when I'm talking about daycare. You're like, when we talk about like something's not right. Like you and I can all see, like we're like, it doesn't make sense to throw these kids in a room when they're really young and just constantly have them sick, for 20, for 2 years of their life, and everybody in their family is sick. Somebody told me a stat the other day that like, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine is they're pregnant with their first child, and they're looking into daycares right now, and they have like 6 months left, and we were hanging out with them this weekend with Luca and over at a friend's house, and they were asking us about like daycare and whatever, and they're like, I know you would rather have your nanny back, and I know that you send them to daycare and yada yada yada, but they're like, what, like they were just asking a lot of questions about daycare, and they were like, I was doing some research and I saw that like, I think they said like 60% of the time, while for the first 2 years or something like that, like the whole family is sick. It's not even just the kid. Like I mean,
Hmm.
I'm kind of sick right now. He got sick again, like with like a little cold, and my I have
Yeah.
like I
He's
have
just a
a
petri dish.
it's but like the point is like at the church of daycare, like and this world, the Church of Grit has created the Church of Daycare as well,
Hmm.
and at the Church of Daycare people just go, well, they got to build their immunity. Well, this is just how it works, Chris. Like and you're like this isn't how it works. Like I mean I may be at the Church of Daycare, but I am not. I'm over there. I'm picketing outside daycare every single day, going, "This fucking place sucks. This fucking place has got to go." Like I mean, like I'm saying, like this is what I'm saying about the Church of Grit right now. Is like it's similar to the Church of Daycare, where I'm like, this isn't right. Like this is not how it's. This is not the point of having children. Is to shove them into a room together so they can get sick for 2 years of their life. Like that is not what humans started having children. Like I mean
I
that's
mean, that's what I'm saying is along the way, people are also missing the point because the most people they have kids so they can get the kids to work, not because of the joy of having it, right?
right.
And so the thing is, you're talking about China, right? China has a big problem right now, right? Because they have this one child policy for I don't know how long. I
Yep.
mean, there's fucking no like girls over there. It's a
Yep.
bunch of boys, right? And the atrocity is that when they have a girl child, and they would kill the child so they could have another.
Are you kidding? They actually
I'm not
killed the
kidding.
child. They killed
How
the children.
how the fuck do you think? How do you fuck do you think there are all boys over there now?
They actually killed
Yes.
like, or are you talking about having an abortion?
No. Kill the kid because
That's
it's a
insane.
one child policy. It is the atrocities over there. And right now, right,
That's
all
insane.
these young boys, young teenage kid, I mean, person, whatever, they have no wife to marry. There's no girls to marry for as a wife. And so and this is one
That's
of the
wild.
so this is one of the actual projects that I've actually done in high school. High school, okay. High school was in 95, 95, 96.
Right.
I was in ROTC, NJROTC, and I had this Master Gunny Sergeant, and he's a great guy. And I asked him, as a project, what do you think would start World War III? He said China, and the reason for that is because the Chinese have this one child policy. And when they have a girl, they will kill the girl so they can have the boys. And by the time the boy grows up, they have no wife. They're gonna go take wives from other country, and they're gonna create this chaos and kind of like tensions, and World War will start.
Hmm.
And right now, it's exactly. I mean, this is like 30 years, right? Almost 30
Right.
years that I asked the Master Gunny, and it turns out that now these kids in China, it's like, okay, I mean, I don't have any girls to go marry. So what did I do?
That's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, I did see on a similar note I need to make sure say the words right. It was like the the replacement levels of population replacement level or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Is it
it's
they're
declining.
paying they're paying people
They have
in
kids.
Korea to have children, and they still won't have children. They've been they and same thing in Japan, and
In
same thing
Japan,
in
yeah, exactly,
yeah
right? That means that
and
the
the
older
U.S. is not
population
honestly, the U.S. isn't much better. The only reason
declining,
why
they're
we don't
declining.
have the only reason why we don't have the same kind of a rate at a population level is because we have a lot of immigration. Like we have a ton of immigration, right? So
Yeah,
it's buoying that.
yeah.
But the people that are Americans like have declined below that. I think it's like 2.1 children. You know, is
Mm.
the population replacement rate or something like that
Right.
per.
And it's
Yeah,
continued to decline because most of these couples they don't even have kids anymore, and they
right.
and that's the
It's
thing is
it's impossible to have
when
children
they
in America.
when the baby boomer starts to leave this world, right? It's going to be a big hole. So you're talking about like, oh, they're going to be overpopulation. No, it's not going to be overpopulations because the older generation will leave this world, and the replacement of these population are slower than the death rate. The birth
Yeah,
rate is lower than the death rate. So
right.
if you have any math skills, you know that it's going to eventually going to make the number go lower, not higher.
Right. Like,
And
but that's the thing is the Church of Grit created this world of
the Judge of Grid say we have hunger issues. We're gonna have like population overpopulation. That's what they say, right? But we just talked about one scenario where it is not. So how do they continue to pump out this propaganda to manipulate people in trying to eat the fucking frogs every day? I mean,
I
the
don't
thing
know
is,
because
it doesn't make sense.
you can't be a good parent at the Church of Grit. Like you got to send your kids to daycare. You got to work, and like see them for 2 hours a week, and give them a bunch of gifts so they think that they're loved or something like that, and like the like it just sucks. Like I'm not I'm not like I'm a firm heretic. Like I will never like the the Church of Grit is a church of extremities, in my opinion, and balance is the opposite of that. Like I don't believe in extremes. I don't want to go to extremes. I want to do a lot of stuff at a high level, but not at an extreme high level. Like I don't care. I don't care
I mean,
if I'm Novak
this is the
Djokovic.
same question I asked you earlier, right? If you don't want balance, this is what happened. Okay, you make $100,000 a year, right? One year
Mhm.
you make $300,000. 2 other years you make zero. Okay, that is what you call extremity. I mean, even average out to be 100, but
Right.
because of the fluctuations, you can't even survive the 2 years of famine. You probably
Right.
be dead, right? And so the thing is, you want the balance. You want to stay in the center of that disc of life.
Right.
So
Agreed.
for me, it's like the church of grit or whatever that is. I don't really care. I mean, I just don't want to even have to think about what they do and have an opposing opinions on what they do. I mean,
Right.
because even then, it's taxing on me, meaning I'm paying some of my brain cells to them.
Right.
Speaking of which, I remember in the Matrix is everybody is basically a battery in this incubator where they create this heat or whatever for the machines, right? So
Mhm.
basically, in that Matrix world, human is a resource. But then I realized in today's society, it's not different. You still have human resource, and that is the only commodity that makes everything else possible. So
Right.
you are no different than in the matrix. You and
Yeah.
I am a resource for somebody.
Yeah.
You are a resource for somebody. And
For
then
sure.
when we have kids, we are priming. They brainwash us and program us to train and program our kids to become a resource for them. So you take your kid and you put them to daycare and you tell them to go to school. Because you go to school, right? To me, go to school is no different than being in
Daycare.
prison.
Or just
No,
daycare. I mean, it's like, well,
but
it's a,
you think about it.
yeah, yeah. No, you're locked up there. I mean,
It's like you go to one
you're
room,
shoved somewhere. Yeah.
you go to the room, sit. You only talk when you're allowed to talk. And then you put in people get in line. You go to
Mhm.
another room. You
You're
sit.
graded, you're judged, you're told what's good, what's not,
What's the
and
difference between that and prison?
not much. I mean,
And the kid are being brainwashed for 12, not 12 now. It's like they even have fucking Head Start now. So Head Start starts out at 2, right? For 20 years, like 18 years, okay? 18 fucking years you are brainwashed to do
you,
exactly what you're supposed to be as a human resource, right?
yeah, it's I've
And
said
then you
this.
have this 4 years and this fucking another whatever. It's like you're talking about that's why the smartest people are the worst out, because that's the reason why I'm so fortunate that I was so dumb. I can't take in anything. Because the thing is that the more you are good at adhering to the rules, you are the fucking like exemplary prisoner.
Yeah, yeah,
You're gonna be there for life, and you're gonna
a
have your
thousand
kids
percent.
being there for life. If
Right.
you are a fucking like exemplary slave, you will become a slave. Your kids will become a slave. Your kids will become a slave, because your kids will become a slave, because you so exemplify in adhering to that.
Yeah.
You will not be able to get out. You will never wake up from the matrix.
I can't disagree with you at all. I've said this so many times at this point in time. I feel like um, the we wake up and get rush out the door, so I can go somewhere that I don't want to be to send my kid somewhere that he doesn't want to be. Like, tell me how that makes sense. Like, I mean,
You are
I,
a fucking human resource.
and the people that are managing these daycares don't want to be there. The people that are at the place that I go to, they don't want to be there. Like, like nobody wants to be where they are most of the time. I mean, maybe a few people are. I mean, maybe a few people really love, what they're doing. Like, but
It's
yeah,
it's it's very rare to have people who actually likes it, because, and to me maybe that's by chance, but chance is, it's pretty low, and so meaning the odds are that you are not gonna be happy where you are, and the odds of me is not gonna be happy where am I not. So that's why we have to be
have
able
the church of grit,
to
determination, and passion and perseverance. Like, that's why we got to
a
have grit, because
the only
you got to keep slaving away on it. You know what I
first
mean?
start the first thing you gotta do is you gotta toss out all that philosophy. You gotta toss it
Yeah.
out. And the second is don't even be give it an iota of your mind to it. And then the third one is figure out what is your point,
Yeah.
right? Because if you adhere to it, that's what I'm saying is, I for me, like I say, I was very fortunate that my brain doesn't work when I was younger. It doesn't work. I was like a post. I'm like and like the idiots of idiots. I'm talking about I can't even read until I was 7, and I can't even read that well, and I'm
Right.
struggling to read, and I can't even write you a story that you understand. It's like I was mumbo jumbo, and everything is all jumbled together. I mean, you're talking about, but I'm good at what I do. It's like I'm good at getting into trouble.
Right.
I'm good at that. I'm good
Well,
at
sounds like you had a desirable disadvantage, True. That's what it sounds like.
fuck
Um,
that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Well, I need to. I actually need to go to bed. I know we're late tonight because I had a tennis match, but Do you feel purged for the night?
Sure, but like I said, there's always tomorrow. That's the
No, it's always
thing for me. It's like there's always tomorrow. I can talk shit to Chris
that's true.
tomorrow, and it's the next day. And that's the thing is you ask Drew, hey, where do you want to take this? No, I don't want to take it anywhere.
Right. I agree with you. It's funny. Next week I was thinking about this today. I was like, because I'm going to be on vacation next week for
And
actually like,
I already forgot about it.
right. And it's fine.
I mean, I forgot it as soon as you told me that day, so I didn't even remember until you told me like just now.
Right. Well, but the funny thing is I was thinking about this today. I was like, man, how do I find time? And I was like, I want to do this next week, but I was like, I should probably not. Like, I was like, I'll be running for a train all week long, and I'll try to have to figure out when I can slip away for like an hour, and I probably should be spending this time with my wife, 100% dedicated and focused on just on doing stuff together because we have this time away. So like, like a part of me is like, the right thing to do is to just say, okay, we should probably just take a week off, and the other, but then I'm like actually debating in my head, well, do I have to? Like, and it's like, but that's the point of the Church of Balance. You're like, you don't want to stop doing the stuff that you want to do. At the Church of Grit, when you're on vacation, you're told unfucking plug, turn everything off, get away, don't answer a Slack message, don't answer an email, don't answer, don't talk to a customer, don't respond to any employees, don't answer text messages. It's like unfucking plug. And the Church of Balance, you're like, you go on vacation and you're like, well, I'm gonna miss a tennis match next week. I had to tell my tennis team captain tonight after our match. I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm out of town next week, and it hurt me to do that. I want to play. Like, so I'm like cramming in as many matches as I can, this week before I'm not joking. I'm playing way too many times this week than I normally would, because I'm like, well, I guess I gotta overcorrect for next week because I'm not going to be able to play. But the truth is that's not a good thing. And number one, and number two, I'm sad that I'm not going to get to play next week. And then I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to do this with you next week. And I'm sad that I'm not going to be able to go, on my normal like workouts and stuff. But I am excited because I can replace that with like a beach run or like a, something like that, where Amelia and I can go do something. And
but that's the thing is the thing you love. You can only stay away from it for so long. Okay, it's just like tennis. If you say, hey, I'm gonna stop playing tennis. I don't know. I mean, like, I would rather lose my arm than not play tennis. I mean, this is like right now. This is the evidence that you have right now. Your fucking arms is like hurting, and you still playing on this league.
Yeah, I'm playing 3 times this week. I mean, like, and I'm like, I'm just trying harder to figure out how to heal my body. But that's the thing is that's called perseverance, right? That's called deliberate practice. That's called I'm studying things, I'm reading stuff, I'm watching videos, I'm figuring out new stretches and new things that I can try to do. I'm deliberately trying to not. I'm not trying to work out so I can get big and strong and see my shoulders like go like ripple in a mirror. I'm trying to strengthen my body so I can go fucking play tennis because that's what I want to do. I don't give a shit. I wouldn't be if my shoulder hurt and I didn't play tennis. I'd be like, fuck it. I guess whatever. My shoulder hurts. Like I don't care. Like you know what I mean? Like
right. But that's the thing is people are missing the point. Like one of the best example I could give you is in sales, right? I mean, why do you think a teenager goes to work?
I don't know. Probably because they feel like they need to make money to go. Why did I let me stop and think about this. Why did I go to work when I was a teenager? I went to work because I knew that it built character. I was told that work builds character. And I needed money to go hang out with friends and do what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It isn't money, right? It is I want to hang out with my friends. But for the most part, like a teenager, okay, I work to make money so I can take a girl on a date.
Right. So I can go do what I want to do.
My point is I want a girl.
Right.
The point is the teenager wants a girl. That's the point. It's not the point of going to work. It's not the point of making money. It's not the point of making money and buy a Lamborghini. All right? The point is I want the girl. So that's why I'm saying is people say, hey, I'm going to do this when I retire. They're missing the point. The point is like, okay, you want a girl, right? That's your target. That is like working isn't your target. Making money isn't your target. Buying a Lamborghini isn't your target.
Right.
The point is the girl, right? So everybody needs to figure out what their point is.
Hmm?
What's the point of doing it? You can't say, well, I work because I love money. No, you don't love money. You love what money can buy, what it is that you want to buy. Think about it first. And then ask yourself, does that absolutely requires money? Or can I get it without it?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Agree.
Because the thing is, when you want a girl, right, you are basically paying like money for dinners, money for
Days and
movie.
right. A lot. You pay a lot. Yeah.
You pay a lot.
Clothes you need to buy.
Jewelry, gift, flower, all that.
Like,
But
yeah.
the thing is, you willingly doing it. That's what I'm saying is when you have something that you want, you will pay for it. Right? You're not saying, okay, I'm gonna go out with you. You need to pay me. Right? Does that ever happen? Right? Only in gigolos, but
yeah.
but
Right.
the point is naturally, as a human, there is something we want, and we will give you exchanges to get it. If
Well,
we get to it, not we have to.
You could end up becoming a professional model photographer or something like that, because that's a way for you to meet people and still get paid and also doing something that you love. I mean,
Yeah,
or you could become a club promoter or something like that, and like, but to your point, like you would still pay to go do it. But I get your point. But all right, we gotta officially put the pin the pin in this one for the night. All right. So the question we can leave with everybody is what might your life look like if in the Church of Balance? So versus
it's a good question.
The Church of Grit. Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, think about that, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Sounds good. Good night.